Good afternoon, 6-4 parents. Mr. Hagedorn here with our weekly update. Hope everybody had a great track out. Our report cards went home yesterday, so make sure you get those from your kids. And also on Monday, students will be taking their first ELA NC check-in. This is a state test, a diagnostic test to see how well have students learned the material from the first quarter, and then what can we do to help fill any gaps they might have, right? Nothing they need to do to prepare for it, anything like that. We'll be taking that Monday morning. All right, Math 6 next week. So this week we started talking about area. We figured out how to find the area of parallelograms, reviewed some rectangles, and then started to talk about triangles. We're going to get a lot more into triangles next week, and then we will start our Unit 1 study guide number 1 on Friday. All right, Math 6 Plus, we've been talking about scale drawings, kind of combining everything we did quarter 1 with geometry and ratios, and creating some geometric figures with ratios to keep them proportional. So we're going to continue to talk about scale drawings next week. We will have our study guide on Wednesday, and we will take our quiz on that unit Thursday. And then on Friday, we're going to start talking about our dreaded fractions. All right, I'm going to steal Mr. O's ELA hat today. I'm going to talk about ELA. On Monday, we are going to create that the key elements of graphic organizer that we did this week, and then the students are going to use that to write a summary, and then we're going to start doing some research. So on Tuesday and Wednesday we're going to be gisting some articles, and students are going to fill in a document to pull out some of those important information from that we're going to then use later on in the quarter to do some writing on. So we're going to start practicing research. Students have their mid-unit assessment on some of those articles. These are just going to be some multiple choice questions about those articles on Thursday. And then Friday, we're going to do a little bit more research where we gist an article and then we're filling in some graphic organizers to help us get that information. All right, have a great week, and we'll see you on Monday.
All right, 6-4 families. What Mr. Hagedorn does not realize is that once I take the ELA hat off, I don't put it back on. So this week we did matter before we tracked out, which was a really big unit, and now we're in our second big unit. We only have 2 really big units in science, and every other unit after that is like 3 to 5 weeks long. So this next unit we're in is starting with waves. This week we did a lot of prepping of vocabulary. And I apologize, but it's a lot of words. And the words kind of just keep coming for the first couple of weeks, and then they will kind of fizzle out for a little bit. So this week was a lot for kids. It got to the point where I'll show you what we had to do. We had to make a family tree for waves. So where waves are in one category or the other, like they're families, and there's mechanical waves and there's electromagnetic waves. And then I told the kids that there's 2 wave types and then 2 wave movements like this. They had to label those today without notes. How dare I not let them use their notes? But after that, believe me, it will get easier the more that we do it. It's just practice and consistently using them and trying them in application, and they'll start to figure it out. So even if this week was rough for them, it'll get easier as we go. On Monday of next week, we're going to be building a wave machine. We're going to use some gummy candies and some shish kebab sticks, and we're going to be building a wave machine. We're going to start in small groups and build a really big chain and see how long we can do that. And we're going to see how wave disperses energy but not matter using that machine. Then we're going to do wave mini labs. That's going to show kids lots of the different vocab that we learned this week, but put it into context. And then we're going to do a questioning activity on Wednesday, followed by a deeper questioning activity on Thursday. That's right, you heard it. 2 different questioning activities. How dare I? Ask questions and then ask digging deeper questions. It's like I actually want them to think. And then Friday, we're going to finish off this intro of waves with a quick Kahoot and quiz, and that will finish off our week. Here's Social Studies. Have a great weekend. We're breaking records with weather, so enjoy the heat.
Oh, that means the hat's going on my head eventually. Mr. O, did one of our students come into your classroom yesterday and talk about the yin and the yang of waves?
Yeah, crest and trough.
Yes. So in social studies, we're talking about religion. And in one of our flight schools, we talked about yin and yang, one of the Chinese philosophies. And I said, make sure you go into Mr. O's room, because they were talking about how part of the wave is the yin and the trough is the yang in the yin and the yang.
Yeah, the crest and the trough.
The crest and the trough. So there we go. cross-curricular things happening on the Owls team. All right, let's talk social studies. As we've tracked back in this week, what's happened is we've moved from geography into our unit on religion, customs, and traditions. And so the beginning of that unit is kind of understanding what is a religion, what is a custom, what is a tradition, how are those things kind of working in the world of faith. And what we go back to is really ancient beliefs around religion. So we're talking about animism and paganism. We're talking about polytheistic, which means many gods, people that had many gods, and most of the gods being natural gods, like the wind gods and the rain gods and the sun gods and those types of things. So we're right now kind of basically understanding that there are two kinds of religions: polytheistic, which means many gods, and monotheistic, which means one God. Right now, we're kind of unpacking polytheistic religions. And so we'll be talking a little bit about the Greeks. We'll talk a little bit about the Egyptians next week. And we're going to actually start making a mummy, which will be an interesting kind of conversation and project that we'll work on. And once we've unpacked polytheism, we'll talk a little bit about monotheism. And so we're going to talk about the origins of some of those big monotheistic faiths like Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. That's what we'll be doing as we continue on through our unit on religion, which is about a 4-week unit. We've done one of them, so we've got about 3 weeks left to talk about these major origins of world religions. Our big 5 that we really talk about a lot are going to be Christianity, Islam, Judaism, and then Hinduism and Buddhism are the other 2 that we talk quite a bit about. So that's what we are doing in our social studies class. Hopefully you have a lovely weekend, and we will talk to you next week. Headphones, yes. Hey, if you have headphones, or if you are in Walmart or Target or on Amazon this week, we would love for you to have headphones. We have lots of kids that don't have headphones right now. So if they could have a pair of headphones in their backpacks, even just little cheap ones you can get at Walmart, that would make our lives, especially science and social studies, a lot easier. All right. Have a good weekend.